bringing up Blake in that season, there was a tweet that AR-15, Allen Robinson, liked about. He said, "I think my time here in Chicago is done and everything's on the table." And then Big Cat Country said everything with the eyes emoji, and he liked it.
Bring him home.
AR-15 back to Jags.
When I tell you, the worst feeling that I keep bringing up is when the Jags did not re-sign that man, and I've complained about it ever since. If the Jags can make it right somehow and bring that guy back, I would be so happy because we were so stupid to ever let him go.
I mean, let's be real. It feels like he was our soldier and we deployed him to Chirac for a few years, and now we're bringing him back home. We're bringing the troops home. We're bringing AR-15 back to Jacksonville with DJ Chark, Trevor Lawrence. So that's got to be our campaign. We got to figure out how to get Allen Robinson back to Jacksonville at any cost. Because Allen Robinson, Zach, you mentioned that about Deshaun Watson, best season that's never going to be talked about. Allen Robinson might be the best receiver that's never had a quarterback. Like in the history, if you look at his first 6 years in the NFL, and let's be real, him not signing with the Jags, that was the beginning of the fall of Jacksonville. But going from Blake Bortles and that whole situation in Jacksonville to Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles and whatever the case is, like I feel like he produces with nothing.
Go back to college. He had Hackenberg.
I was going to say, this guy may have never in his life had a good quarterback at any level, maybe. Period.
Maybe he's the best receiver of all time, and we just don't know it.
Yeah, like if he had Aaron Rodgers thrown to him, I'm sure he'd be Devontae Adams, right?
And by the way, real quick, that Tua question, actually, my dad had asked me, so I want to give him a quick shout out. He asked me about that because he's been traveling, listening to some other news on the radio, sporting news, and he overheard that. So Zach, thank you for answering that for him. He'll enjoy hearing that. But let's get into some college football. Speaking of Tua, Alabama alumni. First, quick shout out to Shores Pub Mandarin, as always. They do a great job there at Shores Pub off of Lasco Road, right next to the Little Caesars, behind the Wendy's. Enjoyed the college football playoff national championship there on Monday night with Tracy, the bartender. We missed Autumn, but Tracy was there holding it down for us. We enjoyed our time at Shores Pub Mandarin. Check them out anytime you're in the South Jacksonville area. Guys, open forum, open questions. Thoughts on the college football playoff, thoughts on Alabama, thoughts on Ohio State, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. Bring it all out. Let it all air out the laundry right now.
For the love of God, expand the playoff. Please expand the I can't watch another year of Alabama not even being challenged by different teams. It's like, I don't want to watch the same blowout every year, regardless of even being like, an Ohio State fan originally. Just give Cincinnati a shot. What is the difference? Who cares if Notre Dame gets blown out again? I don't want to see these same four teams, and the viewership shows it. I think this was like the lowest viewed like championship of all time, which like at a year where everyone is locked at home, you would figure that this would be the best year for that. But no, it was boring. I hated it.
Yeah, because like honestly, me and Justin, we were barely actually watching the game. To be honest with you,
no,
we were just like, there they go.
It was on in the background. That was it. That's literally what it was. I feel like this year was just background noise.
I told my dad I wasn't gonna watch any of those games because I told him it's just gonna be the same thing every year. I thought it was gonna be Alabama, Clemson. Obviously, I was wrong. It's like it's the same teams every year. So it's like, what's the point?
I had The Bachelor on my big TV while the national championship was on my little TV.
Smart choice.
Into perspective of how boring it's been. But I will say one crazy thing I saw today was since the college football playoffs been around, I think there's been 21 games, or maybe 22. It was like 17 of the wins have come from Clemson, Alabama, and Ohio State. I personally think, like, after just looking at how dominant Alabama was this year, I think the only thing that expanding the playoffs would probably do is make other schools more interesting to go to for recruits, because that's like a huge problem. Like, why would you go to Cincinnati when you know they don't have a chance? Why you're clearly only going to go to those three schools, and then it's going to be the last four is going to be the last spot is going to be between Georgia, Notre Dame. I mean, I wouldn't even maybe a Florida, but they haven't even done it. But maybe
Oklahoma,
Ohio,
Texas,
Oklahoma, yes.
Well, Zach, you bring up a good point. You talk about guys going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati is also competing directly with Ohio State for recruits. So it's at the point where the 14 playoff, that 4-star guy that's thinking about going to start his first year at Cincinnati would rather go sit 2 years at Ohio State because he can win a national championship. And let's be real, NFL scouts evaluate talent, but there's really no evaluating the name of your school. Like, these scouts see your school name and say, that guy's there for a reason. He's going to get drafted. I mean, there's draft statistics about it all over the place. And I think that's another big issue with it. My petition would be scrap the expanded playoff. I say we do this. Alabama becomes like beat Bowser at the end of Mario. Okay, so Alabama is the Bowser. So they're waiting at the end anyway because they're already going to be there. And then you have an 8-team playoff to then see who gets to play against Alabama. And then in that game, it's not even straight up. It's the spread to make it more competitive. The winner would be the spread. Realistically, that's the only way I see it becoming enjoyable to watch is if the result was determined by the spread and there was an 8-team playoff to get the chance to play Alabama.
Well, just to go back real quick to what you were saying about recruiting, imagine, like, I think there's some insane statistic out there that every player that has played for Nick Saban in the past, like, I think it's like 6 years, has won a national championship.
No, every recruiting class back to 2014 has won a national championship.
And it's like, how do you, like, he can literally go to, you could basically just hand him the list of the top 100 recruits, and he could just walk up to the top 50 and just go, hey, you want to win a national championship? All right, sign up. That's literally, like, I feel like there's no pitch that you're going to say no to Alabama in situations like that. And until that changes, I don't know what can change that. Like, because I just feel like, their brand is just too strong right now.
It is. And they got 20 of the 300 top recruits for this recruiting cycle as well. So it's not going to change